How does a guy like you, who's made a career of being respectable in the business world and the politics world, get dragged into the Mueller probe?
That's a great question. By the time I actually got involved with the Trump campaign, we now figured out by Devin Nunes recently that there was an active investigation, whatever that even means, into the Trump campaign by late 2015, early 2016. I joined the campaign in March 2016. So by the time I'm even involved, we're all in the middle of some sort of crosshairs.
What does a spy who's trying to entrap someone say?
I'll tell you, it's a crazy, wild story. So it's a September 2016. This is the time when the FBI is trying to get FISA warrants on everybody. And I get an email from this guy, and he's like, I'm a Cambridge professor. I used to work for Reagan and some other guys. I'm going to pay you $3,000. I just want you to come out here and talk to me about the energy business, because that's what I used to do in my profession. And you come here, it's going to be a 3-day trip, and you go on your way, and I support Trump kind of thing. I fly to London. All of a sudden, things are starting to get very bizarre. He's introducing me to this honeypot, this young girl, very flirty. She's talking about Russia to me. She's trying to basically suggest to me that if I give her some stuff on Russia, she's going to sleep with me. I mean, it was a very strange situation.
The missus probably didn't like this coming out.
Luckily, I wasn't married at the time. I wasn't married to the beautiful woman I am now. But but even still, I was thinking I'm there on a business thing. I was under surveillance before joining the Trump campaign and while I was working on the Trump campaign with a FISA warrant on me. The whole thing was a conducted, pre-planned sabotage effort using the FBI, the full authority of the U.S. intelligence apparatus, and foreign countries, as I explained in my book, the British, the Australians, and even some in Italy, who were working in tandem to make this fake scenario happen.
Tell us how the FBI comes to grab you.
So I'm in Italy and I'm in Greece. I'm enjoying a beautiful vacation with my then girlfriend, now wife. I'm flying back to New York or to DC, and then all of a sudden I'm looking at 2 agents on the shuttle bus that I'm on staring at me after like a 15-hour flight. And I'm thinking, I don't know what's going on. Are these guys going to question me, or they're just here looking out for other people? They tell me you're under arrest. I'm handcuffed, I got shackles put on me. I'm thrown into this black SUV with tinted windows, taken to this undisclosed location. The next day I'm brought in front of a magistrate, and they're telling me you're looking at 25 years in prison. These guys were killers, These weren't, including the FBI agents that were dealing with me, they weren't treating me with kid gloves at all. Not only did they go after me, they were going after my then girlfriend and now wife. They issued her a subpoena too, to try and make her either leave me or terrify her, or to try and make her get involved in some sort of crime with me, So not only did they go after me, they went after my family. Fortunately, since my then girlfriend, now wife, was going on TV fighting for me, giving some small hints about who George Papadopoulos really is, and people started to question some stuff, like 2 + 2 doesn't equal 4 in Papadopoulos' story. He's never been to Russia, but he's the ground guy, the patient zero for a Russia conspiracy. Like I state in my book, this was a deep state operation targeted at Trump, targeted at Trump's guys, in order to make it look like he was colluding, doing wrong things, and to hurt his presidency. But since that's been debunked now, my book right now becomes very important to read, and that's why Congress has invited me to testify. I believe that's also why they released my congressional testimony the day of my book release, to amplify what's in here and to tell the world that this is the new info that we're looking into. And most of it has to do with the FBI under Obama.
Our own government can spy on you and listen to your phone calls and read your emails and all this other good stuff if you're speaking to someone else who they allege is a foreign person of concern. And worse than that, they can go 2 hops from you. So if a FISA is on George and George talks to John, then they can go look at John and listen to John's calls and see if there's anything there. And if John talks to Frank, then they can also go listen to Frank's calls. So they get like a 3X on American citizens that they can illegally surveil, in my view. They shape it all into, here's the dossier, here's Papadopoulos, he's the guy, and it winds up that you and basically everyone you know is being surveilled by our own government. Is that right?
That's exactly right. You nailed it better than I've ever heard anybody on TV nail it the way you did. That's exactly what happened.
What are you doing these days to get your career restarted, and what's happening with you?
Yeah, so the book has taken up the last 6 months of my life. I've been really dedicated to making sure it comes out and looks great, and I hope America likes it. I'm in LA right now with my wife. She's pursuing, and I'm actually supporting my wife right now too. You know, because she's had my back for so long, and she's been there with me when I was in Chicago, living in a horrible situation, my savings running out. And she didn't need to go through that. You know, she's a lawyer, she's a beautiful woman. You know, she didn't have to sit around and get involved in an FBI investigation herself, but she did. So right now she's in LA, and she.
That's a tough proposal, right?
It's a tough proposal.
I'm under investigation for being a foreign agent. I'm facing 25 years in prison. Would you marry me? How did that go?
Hey, maybe, you know, some women like some weird adventure. I don't know. I laugh.
You are dating a guy who gets arrested getting off a plane, told he's facing 25 years in jail for being a foreign agent. This is all news to you, I'm sure. And somehow you agree to marry him in the midst of this. So what's going through your mind on that one?
That's a very good question because everybody doesn't understand that I married him in the middle of this. I mean, I literally married him after his arrest. First of all, I believed in him. I knew the people in Europe that entrapped him in this operation. We fall in love in this process. He took me to a wonderful holiday in Europe. We were having this wonderful time during the summer. So I was completely in the blind stage of a relationship. We are completely, you know, in love with somebody. And I found the whole story intriguing. Now people see George is incredibly smart, handsome, and so I said, you know what I want in life is an adventure.
Suave, charming, debonair.
Exactly. I want an adventure. You know, I don't like flat life.
Well, it's been some adventure.
So
hasn't it?
I guess I jumped in this spy movie with him.
What's the stress, what's
very
the stress
stressful,
on you?
Very stressful. First of all, now he's telling the story as we know it now, but we were living the story. And while you live the story, you don't know how it's going to end up. We didn't know if he was going to serve more jail time. The time we were living together in Chicago, I could have lost him for 5 years.
So you were actually, in some ways, a target or a subject in the investigation because they're alleging that you made the introduction to George that put these people to create the fake story to get the FISA warrant. Basically.
That's what was speculated. In the beginning, the reason why I was out there was simply to say, no, wait a minute, you
got it all wrong.
You got it all wrong. And the second time, when they were weaponizing him as this puppet to make fall President Trump, I knew his loyalty. I knew he never fall under FBI pressure. He never broke under the FBI pressure that were pushing him to lie, to entrap.